Earlier this year, Singapore Prime Minister Lawrence Wong said that
most of us use AI the way we use Google. That's not exactly the best way to use AI.
I hate to admit it, but that's what I've been doing. So I took Anthropic's AI Fluency course to learn the basics of using AI. Since then, I've been testing different techniques at work. Today, I'm covering two things, the foundation of a good prompt and the 4 prompting techniques I find useful. Let's start with the foundation. The course was pretty clear about one thing. You need to treat AI as a thinking partner and not just a tool that follows orders. So share your thinking process. The more context you give, the better your results. In practice, this means having 5 elements in your prompt, starting with setting the role. Role is where you define the expertise and perspectives of the AI. When you tell AI to be a conversion copywriter, you'll get a persuasive and user-friendly language. When you tell AI it's a communication specialist, it frames its thinking around messaging, policies, and clarity. Say that it's a technical analyst and it focuses on data, precision, and logic. Giving a role helps the AI use the right perspective, language, and expertise in its response. Next, be specific about the task or the output that you want by stating the exact deliverable. Don't just say write a social media post, say write a 100-word LinkedIn post. Instead of saying give me ideas for a campaign, you can write generate 5 campaign tagline options. Don't just say analyze this report, try saying analyze the pricing structure of this report. The more specific you are with what you want AI to produce, the more likely you get something that you can actually use. Having the right context is probably the most important aspect of a prompt. You can break it down into 3 items: audience, situation, and insights. For example, the context in this case is about reaching out to mid-career professionals who have not used their Skills Future credit as the credit will expire soon. One insight we know is that most of them want to learn but find it hard to choose a course. It takes time and effort to provide the right context, but it will lead AI to the right direction. Next is formatting. Be specific about the output structure, length, and style. Do you want bullet points, short paragraphs, a table format, or maybe you need a 2-page creative brief? If you don't specify the format, AI will make its own assumptions and you'll waste time rearranging the format. Finally, tone. A unique tone helps you stand out from others. Define the feeling, formality level, and the energy that you want to convey. If you have brand voice guidelines, you can paste that in here too. These 5 elements might sound basic, but it really makes a difference. Let's say we're working at Skills Future SG and we want more Singaporeans to use their credits before they expire. Here's a quick prompt. The result is a lot of words, but they feel very generic. It even mentions the year 2020 when the credits were given, but that's not very useful. Overall, it still encourages people to use the credits, but it's very generic and isn't really relatable. Here's how the prompt would look like with role, task, context, format, and tone. Because of the context, the output is more focused and relevant. It immediately addresses the problem at the start and it tries to relate to people with a decision paralysis insight. It then asks you to think about the software or tools that would make your job easier when choosing a course. Finally, it gives a general direction based on your profession. The tone also feels grounded, which is what we want. By making sure that your prompt has all 5 elements, your output will already be much stronger. Let's move on to the prompting techniques, starting with few-shot learning. Sometimes you know what you want, but you struggle to describe it in words. Maybe it's a specific structure, a unique style, or a special tone of voice. This is where few-shot learning helps. You give the AI 2 or 3 examples of good outputs, and it understands the pattern that you want. To show you the difference that few-shot learning makes, let's start with a normal prompt without any examples. This is a testimonial prompt aimed at getting people to use their Skills Future credits before it expires. Looking at the response, it still works for sure, the information is there, but something feels off. It feels generic and maybe even robotic. Let's try the same prompt, but this time I'll add 3 examples of LinkedIn posts. These are real posts from Coursera that I found. They follow a specific storytelling pattern. Start with the person, share their background or worry, show their journey, include a direct quote, then tie it back to the broader message. Here's the result. AI didn't just copy examples. It picked up on the pattern. Start with the person, then the background, show concrete steps, include a quote, then gently remind about the practical details. The first version uses Rachel to sell a deadline. The second version, with few-shot learning, tells Rachel's story and naturally includes the deadline as a relevant context. So that's how adding a few examples to your prompt can help to improve your output. Few-shot learning helps AI copy or match the style that you want. But what about complex problem that requires a lot of thinking and not just pattern matching? This is where chain of thought prompting is useful. Chain of thought works by asking AI to intentionally break down problems into smaller steps before giving you the final answer. This step-by-step thinking approach helps to reduce reasoning errors or hallucinations because the AI doesn't jump into conclusions immediately. Newer models like GPT 5.1 Thinking and Gemini 3 Pro already have reasoning built in, but asking for step-by-step thinking gives you more control. Also, this method works across all other AI models, including non-reasoning ones like Gemini 2.5 Flash. Let's say I need to create a pricing strategy to make the Skills Future courses feel more attractive. I need strategic insights that can help shape the pricing and messaging. Notice the phrase, think through this step by step. That's the trigger. I'm now saying first, think about the user psychology, then pricing sweet spots, and then the final tier structure so that it doesn't just jump into conclusions. The output walks through the logic systematically, starting with user psychology, pricing sweet spots, and final tier structure. Notice how it identified loss aversion as the key driver and came up with bundles like Credit Maximizer. These insights came from systematic thinking, not guessing. Chain of thought is most useful when you need AI to work through a complex problem. If you're asking for recommendations, strategy, or analysis where the reasoning matters as much as the answer, use the trigger, think through this step by step. You'll get better results and you can actually verify the logic. We've been learning how to give AI better instructions, but writing good prompts from scratch is still hard work. Luckily, AI can help us with that. Meta prompting is about using AI to create a detailed prompt from scratch or improve your current version. Let's say you need to present a report on user feedback for Skills Future to the senior management. You collected a lot of feedback in an Excel sheet, but it's messy and you're not so sure how to analyze it. Should this be grouped by sentiment, by theme, or by urgency? A quick prompt like summarize user feedback about Skills Future credit expiry is too vague. Instead of guessing what to add, use meta prompting. So here, I added my original short prompt and I asked AI to improve it by identifying what's missing. I also added other items for the AI to guide its response. The improved prompt now includes a much cleaner and more detailed structure. You can see the grouping strategy, decision-making formats, context and demographics, and even actionable recommendations. Just based on the length of the prompt itself, you can see it's already much better. When I ran that improved prompt with the actual feedback on the Excel sheet, I got a structured report which anyone could act on immediately. It had clear themes, priorities visible at a glance, and suggested next steps. It wasn't just a summary, it was analysis with an action plan. I find meta prompting very useful as it helps to make my lazy prompts more comprehensive and clearer. Also, I get to learn how to write good prompts with it. The final technique is reverse prompting. This is when you give an example that you like and ask AI to recreate it as a prompt. This technique uses meta prompting because you're asking AI to create a prompt based on an example that you provided. It's useful when you come across good examples, maybe like a landing page or a LinkedIn post, but you don't know how to recreate it as a prompt. Let's say you want to create a career-focused messaging for Skills Future that shows relevant courses according to your job. I found a good example on Coursera's career pages. They have specific pages for roles like digital marketing specialist. Instead of guessing what makes their copy effective, I'll use reverse prompting. AI gives an analysis of what works starting with the page structure, tone and voice, and psychological triggers used. And now we have a very detailed and structured prompt that we can use to create a similar page for Skills Future. Once the placeholders are updated, we can try the prompt in the same chat window. So now we have a page content dedicated to becoming a certified UX designer. AI uses the structure from Coursera but adapts it to Skills Future. The recommended pathways now shows 2 Skills Future programs. You also have a table of suggested testimonials to show, such as the high potential graduate. I also use reverse prompting for images. This one is very useful. I saw this image from Canva that I like because it shows a person with different tools or skill sets. I want to create something similar, but I'm not sure how to describe the style to an image generator. So, I use reverse prompting. The AI first shows you the analysis part as we requested, describing the details carefully. It says that it is a photorealistic image with geometric rendering. It also gives the prompt that we can use, similarly with keywords like cinematic portrait and geometric icons. Here's the result. It's not bad for an unedited prompt. This is something that can already be used, but you can always customize the image further if you want to. Reverse prompting really helps when you want to recreate a good example as a prompt. This technique saves time and helps you learn what makes good examples effective, whether it's a copy or a visual. So we've covered the foundation of a good prompt and 4 techniques. Before we end, here are 2 small tips that help me do my work better. Tip number 1. When you have back and forth conversations with AI and finally get the result that you like, don't let that valuable process go away. Ask AI to turn your successful conversations into reusable prompts. Let's say I'm looking for all the AI-related deals in Singapore, like how Gomo by Singtel gives 1 year of Perplexity Pro for free. In this conversation, I've tried to get AI to explore as many products and services from different categories like telcos and even educational institutions. It's a lot of back and forth, but we can create a reusable prompt so I can check the deals again next month. So now I can just use this reusable prompt in a new conversation and get the results I want faster with minimal back and forth. This is how you can actually build your own library of proven prompts. Tip number 2. Don't just stick to one approach. Sometimes few-shot learning works well, sometimes chain of thought works even better. It took me some time to develop my own safe prompt for landing pages. It's over 2,000 words and contains different techniques. So far, it's been helping me to get the job done faster and better. So take the time to try the different techniques and tips when you use AI today. See which one fits your workflow. The more you use these techniques, the more you'll see AI as a thinking partner and not just a tool. And if you ever run into Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, you can tell him that you're no longer using AI like how you use Google. Thanks for watching.